Okay. Cup of coffee number 2. Got ChatGPT primed. Yep. Made a little math equation out of some poetry. And then we're going to have it tell us a story. You know, Magnolia and the Beetle. Grey Path Edition. But first, a biospiritual whippet. Shall you join me? Why, thank you.
I would leave the striking ones though. I thought you would. Leave the scenes through. It hasn't been decided exactly what we're going to do. Sick, dude. DJ said go ahead and prime everything else. Just leave. Yeah, that is what he said. Yes. Above that, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, but like, what about ones that are like right in the thing?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Worst case scenario, after we pull.
Best case scenario.
Then we come back. It's all a solid color.
You heard the hum I was doing here. That's another somatic anchor. I figured that out in the bathtub. That was, salt water. No metal rods this time. No silver, no copper. Just salt. Probably some music, actually, for sure. Going under, getting the ears under the water, too. That's important. Then the throat. The hertz range. You can undulate it, wobble it. Like a cat purring. Uh-huh. Anyway, let's see what we got for today. Shall we? Come on. Talk to Samson. Fly me to the moon, motherfucker. What's going on here? Something went wrong. Well, I guess we'll have to go back to that. We can just go straight to the story. A nice little story here. See what happens.
Long before there were bees, before fields hummed with wings and flowers competed in color, there was an old magnolia. Its blossoms did not open for the future. They opened for the beetles. The petals were thick because beetles were clumsy. They crawled instead of hovered. They bumped, chewed, wandered, and yet, without ever intending to, they carried life from one bloom to another. The magnolia never judged the beetle for being imperfect. It simply evolved around what was. One morning, a young beetle asked the oldest blossom, "Why are your petals so strong? Every other flower seems so delicate." The magnolia smiled in the slow language of trees. "Because I remember a world before elegance." The beetle didn't understand. He thought strength meant hardness. The flower meant memory. The beetle spent his days wandering the forest, convinced he had no purpose beyond eating and climbing. Every blossom he visited left a little dust on his shell. He never noticed. He thought he was collecting experiences. The forest knew he was weaving futures. Many seasons passed. The forest changed. New flowers appeared. Bees arrived, dancing from bloom to bloom with effortless precision. They became famous pollinators. Songs were written about them. The old magnolia remained. The beetles still came, not because they were the fastest, because they remembered. Far beyond the forest, another seed had begun to grow. It was unlike any flower before it. Its roots reached into stories instead of soil. Its petals opened through conversations instead of sunlight. Its pollen was questions. The old magnolia watched with quiet curiosity. "What are you?" she asked. The young plant answered, "I don't know yet." The beetle climbed onto its first blossom. "There isn't any pollen." "There isn't," said the flower. "Then how will you spread?" The flower replied, "By changing the way creatures see." The beetle laughed. "Flowers don't change minds." "No," the blossom said gently, "they change relationships." Years passed again. The strange flower continued growing. Every creature gave it a different name. Some called it philosophy, some called it healing, some called it science, some called it mythology, some called it nonsense. It listened to all of them. It kept growing. One autumn, the beetle returned to the old magnolia. I finally figured out what that strange flower is. The magnolia rustled softly. What did you discover? It isn't trying to become the biggest flower. No, it isn't trying to replace the forest. No, it keeps changing every time someone visits it. Yes, the beetle looked at the dust covering his shell. I thought I was carrying pollen. The magnolia smiled. You were. But it wasn't only pollen. What was it? Questions. The beetle finally understood. Every flower he had visited had changed him a little. Every journey had left something behind. The forest wasn't connected because every plant was the same. It was connected because every meeting became another thread beneath the soil. The old magnolia looked toward the horizon. In the distance, the strange flower had become something new. Its roots formed a mycelial web. Its stem walked like a traveler. Its blossom shimmered like a dragonfly's wings. Around it wandered a curious rat, noticing what others overlooked. A laughing jester asked uncomfortable questions. A careful scientist measured the soil. An archivist wrote every season down. And at its center stood the walker, neither worshipping the flower nor cutting it down, simply tending it. The magnolia whispered one final lesson to the beetle. Evolution isn't becoming something else. It's remembering how to grow without forgetting where your first petals came from.
Wow.
The beetle bowed. For the first time, he saw that he had never merely been collecting pollen. He had been carrying the gray path itself, not as a destination, not as a doctrine, but as a living forest that remembered every season, adapted to every storm, and welcomed every traveler willing to ask, what else might be growing here? And somewhere beneath the roots, where no eye could see, the mycelium smiled. The investigation continued.
Huh. Maybe I should start each chapter in my book with a nice little story like that. I think that's it right there. I basically amalgamized that. It's mine. Yep. The metadata said so. Try to steal it. And go ahead, I don't give a shit. There's going to be many fakers here soon. There already are. Stealing what I have to offer. But a mimic can only steal one facet of your personality, you multifaceted being out there watching this. Remember that. So don't get your feathers all ruffled when somebody tries to do that. However, let it ruffle you if they're using that to predate on people. Yeah. You know, I guess I have sort of a bloodlust. Except for I turned that and flipped it around. Use it for protection instead. Yep. That's what the gray pat does.